It's 9 o'clock now. Keep an eye on this.
Well, he never heard, so.
All right, so hey, now everybody's coming in. Admit all. Let's see here. This is gonna be a big session because we're combining both cohorts. Um, so actually, I'm actually really looking forward to this because now I think you all are I think you all stay in the same cohort, but now in this class, everyone's going to be together. So I think this is going to be very beneficial. So for you all to collaborate. Just sitting here making sure everyone's getting in here and I added a waiting room. I got to switch that because that is a pain. All right. Let me see how this thing works when I share my screen and see if I can see everybody in the waiting room. All right. All right, 9:02. We're going to get started. Got 23 people here. I'm going to keep an eye on the waiting room. Um, thank you all for joining this session. I'm Justin Golston. I always say I'm going to be your mentor and coach. Your mentor and coach for this class. I see a few familiar names. Aman, I remember you. Who else? Who else do we have here? Um, Kartik, I remember you from the statistics class, Mark Reyes. Yeah, so welcome back. I hope you're excited that we're together again. So so this is operations and supply chain management. This is my favorite topic. Um, Managerial decision making is another favorite topic of mine. But operations management, that's my jam. So I've spent a number of years. I've spent a number of years as a management consultant within the supply chain space, primarily working with manufacturers and distributors. If you Let me see here. You can all see my screen, right? Just letting people in. All right. So if you go to justingolston.com, that's my personal website where I pretty much over with the pandemic, I got the opportunity to speak at a number of international conferences on supply chain management, on blockchain, on artificial intelligence, on sustainability, and all. Given that some of my engagements were essentially all over the place, I pretty much created a personal website where I could create a centralized area to put those talks. So I just shared one. Within the discussion this week. Given that we're talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotic process automation. So there's one of those presentations within the discussion this week. So you can go to justingolston.com and see a number of discussions, a number of podcasts on the areas and on the topics that we're going to discuss throughout the class. So also I was just named the 2021 Supply Chain Pros to Know on for Supply and Demand Chain Executive, as well as the Rock Stars of Supply Chain. I love that title. So I don't consider myself a rock star. I consider myself someone that's passionate about the supply chain discipline. So I'm also a board member on the International Supply Chain Education Alliance. I just assisted in developing the sustainable supply chain certification for that program. There is going to be a supply chain sustainability day that's going to come up in the next week and a half or so that I'm a part of. Also, there is going to be a discussion, and normally within the weeks, I will be talking about a number of things that are happening within the supply chain space in terms of conferences and things like that. And one thing I do want to discuss before we get started is, let me get to it. Let me get to it. I just looked it up for another class. Oh, give me a second. It won't take me long to find it. I watch myself. I don't watch myself call me a liar. Um, I think this may be it. Just looking on my other screen real quick. That's not it. So supply demand chain executive. So always try to, and another thing you'll hopefully see is that I try to bring in as much information that's going on with the industry. So I will be sharing a number of different conference presentations and things like that. So there's one presentation that's coming up on April 27th for supply and demand chain executive. We're going to talk about workforce development within the supply chain industry, where we're going to talk about the importance of education, the importance of certifications, the importance of development while you're actually in your role. Okay, so supply and demand chain executive. I'm going to be on that roundtable discussion. Also, Terry Esper. I've done things with him in the past. He is a professor of logistics at The Ohio State University. He always prefaces that at The Ohio State University. Also, Rodney Thomas, University of Arkansas. University of Arkansas got pumped with so many millions of dollars from Walmart. So, University of Arkansas came out of nowhere in terms of supply chain management, in terms of their research. So, they're top 5 supply chain program in the world. And then Eva Ponce, she is the director of omni-channel and distribution at MIT. So for MIT, for the Center of Transportation and Logistics. So that is first off, I'm still trying to figure out why they even asked me to go on this panel, because these are some heavy hitters within the supply chain discipline. Um, these people, I was referencing these people in my master's program, my doctoral program. These are how big of names these people are within the discipline within higher education. So I would suggest that you all oh, do I have a chat in here? Yeah, chat. So I'm putting this in the chat. This would be an excellent presentation to attend. And I think even if you're unable to attend, if you sign up for it, oh, there's people in the waiting room. Home man. If you're oh man, everyone, there's people in the waiting room. Let me get these people in the waiting room. Wait, there's nobody in the waiting room, is it? No, everyone's here. Yeah, I think everyone's here. All right. So even if you're unable to make that, because it is, yeah, it's at 12 o'clock, so that's 9 o'clock, well, no, 12 o'clock Central Time. So that's going to be during your workday, but I think if you register for it, you'll actually get the link to the recording. So that is one thing that I would say to sign up for. Now, enough of that. So the reason why you all came here was to go through the course. So as it pertains to supply chain management, operations supply chain management, we are going to go through a number of things. I will say that the way that I teach, the way that I hold these sessions is that I try to bring in as many relevant topics as possible. Now, I sent out an announcement to say, whenever you whenever you introduce yourself, talk about the industry that you work in. That way I can tie what we're discussing to your industry, right? So I try to do my best in that. That way you can learn it in this lecture, and then you can apply it within your roles the next workday. So in terms of the course objectives, we're going to talk about the components of supply chain and operations management. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, where the components are going to be the suppliers, the manufacturers, the distributors, the customers, and how all of those business partners have to communicate and collaborate to create an efficient supply chain. We're going to talk about the key steps to process design. We're going to talk about process mapping. When we talk about process mapping, I also talk about what we refer to as value stream mapping, where we're going to identify bottlenecks within our processes. And then we're also going to talk about layouts, so facility layouts, location layouts, and things like that. Now, I will stop really quickly and say that whenever I teach supply chain and operations management, yes, I may be biased, but this class, regardless of your discipline, regardless of where you work, in my opinion, is most applicable than any class outside of a leadership class. Now, I say that because every single one of you are in an MBA program to have a position in leadership. As a leader, you have to plan for your people. You have to plan for your inventory, right? You have to identify processes. You have to make processes more efficient. So that's why I say, regardless of your role, regardless of your industry, you're going to take things out of this class and apply them within your roles. Okay. And I'm going to stress that probably every week. Okay. So so in terms of process, I stopped and said process mapping because process mapping is used within every single industry. Yes, it's very applicable within the manufacturing and distribution industry and things like that. But I get hired in healthcare a lot to map out processes in healthcare to make those operations more efficient. So that's why I kind of preface that statement. So we're also going to apply the fundamentals of demand management, and we're going to go back. So I know some of you. We're going to go back to that decision making class and talk about the quantitative and qualitative tools that we talked about there. And for you who are in that class, you're going to hear me get on my soapbox again and talk about how ERP systems do this work for you. Now I can demonstrate that. Now I can talk about how ERP applications, could perform those quantitative calculations that you all hated, and I hate them too. I don't like them either, right? But we're gonna talk about that and how they're applicable to an organization. We're going to talk about the project planning tools for project management. We're going to talk about Microsoft Project. We're going to talk about the waterfall approach, that structured, methodical waterfall approach. And then we're going to talk about the agile approach, where we're pivoting, we're making changes. It's more of an iterative approach, right? I'm an agile guy, right? And I had one student from Brazil that reached out to me on LinkedIn, and she listened to one of my podcast talks, and I was talking about agile, and she said, I just, how do I say this? Whenever you mention agile, it seems like it's a little reckless. I said, well, you could view it that way, but I say that the correct word is iterative. You're constantly pivoting. You're constantly making changes. You are putting things in production. You're getting feedback. You're receiving continuous feedback loops, and you're making adjustments. Right. So perfect example of that is I'm actually starting up a blockchain company with my partner from MIT. And as we're building out the website, it's an iterative approach. Right now, so I could actually show you. So again, I am hands-on. Whenever I mention something, I will be jumping around. Some people in my last evaluation, some people didn't like that, but I think that's where the majority of people learn. So this is the website that we're building, and the developer, I said I'm agile. I said I roll stuff out, and I said I build things out as it comes. I said, I rip stuff down, I rip stuff out, and I add it in. I make changes, right? He said, I never worked that way, but we'll try it, right? So with this website, last Monday, we had the logo, we had this, we had these two signups, and that was it, right? Monday, we rolled this out, published it, went live, right? Tonight, once I get off this call, I'm going to add another link up here, and I'm going to add all these TEDx talk links for education. Once that's done, once that's live and once that's done, then I'm going to filter out all of these into certain categories, and then that's going to build out the education portion of that website. Now, that's an agile approach. With a waterfall approach, I would have done all this. I would have done what we call wireframes. I would have built all this stuff out. I would have marked all these things up. I would have had all this stuff laid out and say, okay, this is phase two. We do this. We have a due date of this, and then once everything is done, then I roll it out, and then I'll wait for feedback. Right. So with a waterfall approach, it could have been 6 months before I had this. With an agile approach, this is getting rolled out. I can go at any given point in time and see how many people are signed up for this, and I can get feedback. And once this website is complete, now there's going to be areas that are perfected because people are using it. I'm getting feedback. I'm getting continuous feedback loops, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to talk about whenever we talk about the planning tools within project management. And then we're going to talk about various tools within purchasing and procurement for strategic cost management. So we're going to talk about, how do we keep costs as low as possible within an organization's supply chain. We're going to talk about, now you're going to hear me talk a lot about blockchain. You're going to hear me talk about a lot about artificial intelligence. You're going to get sick of me talking about it, but that's the future. And you have, with artificial intelligence, Amazon is Amazon because of artificial intelligence. Netflix is Netflix because of artificial intelligence, if you think about it, right? And you're seeing a lot of these I just had a call today. I just had a call today with an executive from SAP. SAP is the largest ERP company in the world. And they wanted to evaluate my interest in being an influencer for SAP. And SAP, so she's on the procurement side. So SAP is doing a lot of work behind the scenes right now to integrate artificial intelligence within their Ariba product. So their Ariba product is their solution for purchasing and procurement, right? So that is the insight of where this industry is going, right? So so we're going to talk about a lot about those various tools of procurement and purchasing. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of discussion on artificial intelligence because that's where we're going in the industry, and that's where that's why I have a lot of discussions on these podcasts because that's what I specialize in. I specialize in AI and blockchain research. Um, so we're also going to talk about the importance of creating the relationships with suppliers and business partners. Now we said suppliers, but I also want to include customers as well, because the relationships and the trusts are the most important things to an effective supply chain, to an effective and efficient supply chain, to effective and efficient business. It's the relationships and trusts. You know, if we talk to, that's all you need to know for an MBA. You need relationships and trust. Done. Give my piece of paper. All right. But I mean that's key concepts. That's key concepts within supply chain management. And that is a missing piece within supply chain management as well. And that's why I talk a lot about transparency within supply chain management. So we're going to also talk about the appropriate tools for inventory management. Um, I had the vice president. Let me see here. Joe Henwood. Joe Henwood. Joe Henwood is the VP of Omnichannel, I believe. Yeah, Joe Henwood is the VP of Omnichannel. I've been speaking with, uh-oh, wrong one. Here we go. Yeah, I've been speaking with him a lot actually. So Joe Henwood is the vice president of Omnichannel at Levi's. So he actually came and lectured at another one of my in another one of my classes, and he talked about the importance of inventory, within Levi's supply chain. So he talked about how the supply chain disruption within the Suez Canal is going to impact the retail industry. And he said that although we are not going to see an impact within the US now because we have safety stock levels, another thing we'll talk about in this class, you're going to see the impact from the Suez Canal within the US probably by the end of May. Because by the end of May, a lot of organizations are going to have their safety stock levels depleted, right? So we're going to talk about a lot about those things. Am I recording this? Oh, man. Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about a lot about those things. And as you can tell, I get excited about this stuff. I'm just warning you now. I geek out a lot whenever I talk about supply chain and technology. Just letting you know. Let me see here. All right. So we're going to talk about inventory management. We're going to talk about the functional role of ERP applications within a firm. Also within my website, I actually wrote a book on ERP systems. So you can go here. You can go to Amazon. You can see my book on ERP systems. Oh, I got 2 ratings. Excellent. So if you want this book, reach out to me. Send me your PO box. Send me your company address. I'll send it to you. I'll give you one. All right. Again. So that's what we do. So also we're going to talk about ERP applications, and we're also going to talk about material requirements planning. So ERP applications, I always say ERP applications, enterprise resource planning applications run my enterprise. It runs my entire organization. If you're in healthcare, you have HMS systems. You have systems that run your entire hospital. If you're in healthcare, if you've heard of Epic, Epic is the ERP system for a hospital. So So within a particular industry, an enterprise resource planning application runs my enterprise. In some small businesses, your ERP system is Excel. Okay. Now, a lot of it in a number of small and medium businesses, your ERP system is Excel. And there is a joke within the ERP consulting realm is that, Excel is the world's greatest ERP system because most people will have multi-million dollar ERP systems, and they still run the majority of their data still sits in Excel, right? So so we're going to talk about ERP applications. Again, if you're interested in that book, send me a message. Send me your company address. Send me your company address. I'll send you one. Because I can drop ship it from Amazon. Material requirements planning. Material requirements planning is within that ERP umbrella. It's a module within an ERP system. It is a system that runs that lets purchasing know what materials need to be bought and when and from what supplier. Okay. So you just say that MRP is under that ERP umbrella. Material requirements planning plans my materials. Enterprise resource planning plans my enterprise. It runs my enterprise. And then within tools of quality management, that's where we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about lean and Six Sigma and things like that. The lean tools, my favorite tool of all time is the DMAIC approach. Define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. And once we get through that DMAIC approach, a number of you are going to say, oh, we do that all the time. Because a lot of these things that you do, you just didn't know that you do them, but you just didn't know there was a name to them. You didn't know there was a philosophy behind it, right? So that's what we're going to go through. Again, I'm geeking out. I'm very excited about this stuff. I talk about this stuff all day long, all night long. So that's the course level objectives. Hopefully, I'm not boring anybody. But within the first module, um, we're going to talk about the introduction to supply chain management. I'm going to try to keep this to an hour. I'm going to try my best. That's my biggest weakness, trying to keep this to an hour because I talk a lot. But we're going to do an introduction to supply chain management, and you're going to have a number of my lab homework assignments. I did push the quiz out to Thursday, and also when we're on these calls, if you want to push these dates out, let me know. I am. I think you all had me for you all that had me on in the last class. I'm quick to push an assignment because I know life happens. I know we all work. I know we're in a COVID era, right? I know we have kids at home. Driving some of us crazy, right? If you have older kids, school level kids, so if we need to push any date, let me know. We'll push it. All right. I have no problem with that. This is a short class. I do not want you to submit assignments for the sake of submitting assignments. I want you to learn this stuff. This is a 5 week class. It's a lot of content to go through. I want you to take your time to understand it because it's very important. All right. So just keep that in mind. If you need to push anything, if you're going to be a few days late with an assignment, just send me a text message. All right. I think I put my number. I think I put my number in the announcements. I'll also put it in the chat here. Oh man, whenever I can get the chat to come up. Let's see here. I don't know. I'll put my chat in before I'll put my number in before we end. But yeah, if you have any kind of issues, just send me a text. The text is going to be the easiest way to get a hold of me. Got students texting me now, but so this is a required book, managing supply chain and operations. Oh, Harvard Business Publishing, the course pack. So Susan sent me a text message around 1 o'clock today to say that there's an issue. There's an issue with the course code within the HBP, within the Harvard Business course pack. Just hold off on trying to sign up for a course pack so far. Susan is trying to get that resolved right now. So we should get that resolved within the next couple of days. And once that gets resolved, then I will submit an announcement within both classes, and then you can sign up for it. But I think that the Harvard Business Assignment, I think that's week 2. I think that's week 2. So we have a week to get it done, but we need to get that resolved before you all, because I know some of you do like to work ahead. All right. Um, I'm about to pause. So module
What
1, as we said, we're going to do an introduction to supply chain. We're going to try to go through that now. Module 2, we're going to go to product and process design. We're going to go through service design. We're going to go to demand forecasting. Um, we're going to, in week 3, project management, procurement, supplier management. I want to split these things. Like I said, whenever you see these things split out like this, these are classes in their own. In a supply chain program, we have full classes on demand forecasting. We have full classes on service design. We have full classes on product and process design. So it's a lot to get through, right? There are masters and doctoral programs on project management, right? So it's a lot to get through within 1 week. And like I said before, people have said that, you know, my lectures do run a little bit long, so I'm gonna try to keep them to an hour. I'm gonna try my best. I'm no Susan said no more 2 hour lectures. Okay, fine. But you know, this is things I like to talk about, and those 2 hour lectures are because students ask questions. Students ask specific questions as to in their job, right? So that's the type of discussions I like to have. You know, I don't like to lecture based on theory. Like I said, I bring in as much real life experience as possible. I bring in as much uh, information as possible that's going on right now, right? So that's what I try to do within these classes. Week 4, module 4, we're going to talk about inventory management, aggregate sales and operations planning. I do a lot of research on that. I do a lot of talks on that. ERP and MRP. I'm going to try my best not to get on my soapbox on that one. Anything technology, I go crazy. And then week 5 is going to be logistics and quality management and Lean Six Sigma. All right. So again, it's a lot of content to go through. And as I said, you can have entire courses on these concepts. You can have entire programs on these concepts. I mean, I just created a Lean Six Sigma program for the state of Colorado. You know, so you have entire programs on on one topic that we're trying to fit into a week. So we'll get through it. We'll get through it. But again, I don't want you all to kind of try to rush through all of this content just for the sake of getting through it. I want you to understand it, and I want you to be able to apply it to your current work environments. All right. So I think the most important piece that you all want to know is, you know, how are you going to be graded? How are you going to be evaluated? So the homework assignments make up 20%. The reading discussions make up 10%. To, in my opinion, the reading discussions, the discussions are the most valuable piece to the entire to any class, in my opinion, because you're going to learn things from different industries. You're going to learn from your peers. You're going to get different perspectives. And I say that's very important because there's going to be things that are transferable to your industry that you're going to learn from your peers that can be transformative within your industry, within your organization, right? Perfect example. So I did a conference. I did a presentation. So this is the actual presentation. I did a presentation for Procter and Gamble Sunday, this past Sunday, in Dubai. So Procter and Gamble Dubai, they asked me to come speak about blockchain. And whenever I was doing my research, when I was thinking about use cases that Procter and Gamble could use, there's a development that's going on right now in healthcare where they're looking to put insurance claims on the blockchain, right? So I said, Procter and Gamble has a number of claims from Walmart, from us as consumers, right? And us as consumers, whenever we're trying to return something, I know at least for me, you know, I'll come back and say, okay, where's my refund? Oh, we didn't see that. Oh, we don't find that. Now, if you put claims on the blockchain, You say, no, here it is. It's on the blockchain. Here's the timestamp of when it was written to the blockchain, right? So something that I actually found in the healthcare industry is transferable to the supply chain industry for Procter and Gamble, right? So I say that those discussions are very important because you're going to find things that are transferable that you haven't thought about in your industry that you will learn from your peers that you could actually implement or propose to your industry. Okay, so that's why I think the discussions are very important. You know, quizzes they're 30%. Um, Spreadsheets are 8%, and then the simulations are 32%. But the simulations, when we get to simulation week, I'll talk about the simulations because there's one on project man. There's a simulation on project management that a lot of people get hung up on. And once we get to that project management week and that simulation, we'll talk about that then. All right. So now I will stop and I will ask if there's any questions.
Hey, this is Jennifer. I do have a question. It's actually related to the discussion post, not necessarily related to the content yet. So I noticed that the discussion post is blocked for editing, and I noticed a typo after I pasted my response in. Would you be willing to allow us to edit our post?
All right, hold on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, if I can figure out how to, yes.
Okay. Also, I want to add that I love your accent, but I'm biased because mine's Southern too.
Where are you from?
South Carolina. You?
I'll always say I'm from North Carolina, the better Carolina. So sorry.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll agree that North Carolina is slightly better.
I always say North Carolina, better Carolina. Any other? Mark, do you have a question?
I know you say you're going to talk about the simulation, but what I mean, like, I've never had a what is a simulation? Like, what is this? Like, what should I?
So, all right. So
Like,
I'll spill the beans. I'll spill the beans. Okay.
All right.
All right. So with the so there's an inventory control simulation, and then there is a project management simulation. So you're given a scenario, right? And you have to make decisions based on what you've learned. So it's pretty much you're like plugging in numbers, you're putting in inputs. It's kind of like it's a real life simulation like we have in ERP systems, right? But the simulations are gamified where you can say, okay, you have this project, you have these people, and then you make these decisions based on R&D. And then although it increases your profitability, it upsets your people, right? It makes them mad because I increased my profitability by outsourcing some of the processes, but then the employees, you'll see that they get disgruntled, right? So you have to weigh those things as you're going through that scenario, and then at the end, you get it a score, but then you have to do a write-up of what you learned from it. Okay. So people get so hung up with the score to say, oh, my score was so low. Hint, it's impossible to get a perfect score. Okay. The goal of these simulations is for you to learn. Is for you to get that output. Yes, you have to continue to run these scenarios and get them better and better and better and better and better. But the goal is for you to document what you've learned from that simulation, because that's what we do in business. It's not going to be perfect. If it was perfect, I would not be teaching. I'd be making a lot of money, right? But that's what the simulations are all about. You know, it's about assessing what you've learned in the process. It's not about perfection. There is no, if you look at forecasts, you have whole departments looking to reduce the forecast error of a product, and they get paid a lot of money. They get paid a lot of money to be wrong. Right? They get paid a lot. People on Amazon, They get paid a lot of money to be wrong. They're just trying to get as close to good, not perfect, as close to good as possible. Right? So that's what those simulations are all about. That answer your question? All right.
Sounds fun, kind of.
Hey, that's what I'm all about. I'm all about having fun. I mean, this whole discipline is fun. You know, the pandemic wasn't fun. The Suez Canal wasn't fun, but now that it's over and we can laugh about it, right? You know, so yeah, my last year and a half has been absolute mayhem. You know, back like I said, when I think I was sharing this back in the managerial decision making class. But during the pandemic, like back in March and April, I had owners of small and medium businesses almost in tears. They're like, Justin, I don't know what to do. It's like I can't get any product because they were so reliant on Chinese manufacturers, they couldn't get nothing, right? And once the pandemic happened and China shut down, almost all small and medium business in the US got wiped out. They got wiped out. They got demolished, right? But once their inventory is gone, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do, right? So when I taught this last class, when I taught this same class last semester, you know, there was one individual, he's I think he was VP of sales or director of sales or something like that for they manufactured, you might know him. They manufactured the strips that you would see like in a warehouse to keep out the rain, wind, snow, and things like that. So their supplier was like that gets the raw plastic, right? So they melt down this plastic and make these strips for warehouses, right? But with the pandemic, they could have this same exact material to make the shields that you see in grocery stores, in gas stations, in pretty much every single store, right? In California, just a shield, right? So because their supplier was one of the largest suppliers of this raw plastic. I don't know what it's called, but he said, how much do you have? He's like, give me all of it, right? So they pivoted. They pivoted because there was a societal need for these shields, right? And they said, we didn't make no money off of it. We didn't make much money off of it. We actually, in some cases, we lost money, but they filled a need. They pivoted, right? They were agile. You see why I like agile so much? So that's the things we're going to talk about. And that's why I bring in those real life examples, right? So his company might have ran a simulation, might have ran a scenario to say, okay, if we pivot, how much money are we going to lose? Right? But really, if you think about it, they really didn't have any suppliers that's going to be buying these strips because the distribution centers were closed down. Who needs strips when you're not operating? Right? So, but the thing is, that was, in my opinion, they weren't thinking of it this way. In my opinion, that was strategic because now they have lifelong customers. Because, like I said, in some cases, they lost money, but they were feeling the need. And if you look at it, if you look at it from a sustainability, from a corporate social responsibility perspective, there were some people that were taking advantage of it. You'll see a lot of these internet companies. Now, Zoom, in my opinion, well, you know what? I take it back. Because Zoom gave every single institution free subscriptions, right? But in Zoom's case, okay, in Zoom's defense, they didn't think this thing was going to last a year and a half. So they gave them free subscriptions. And my neighbor was a principal at an elementary school, and she said that Zoom was making these high schools pay for subscriptions in the fall. But she said, we have no choice. We're locked in because we're not going to train our teachers and our students on a new platform. So Zoom's locked us in. right? So now, does Zoom continue to give people for give them the services free? I say yes, but yes, it's still a business. Yes, they still need to make money, but I still think that they had enough revenue coming in from organizations that had to purchase that subscription to continue to give institutions those subscriptions for free. It's a goodwill write-off, right? So I mean, that's the thing. That's the things we're going to talk about. So again, Zoom might have done a simulation, and they might know more than I do. Of course, they know more than I do. Who am I? Right. So that's the things I think about. That's the things that keep me up at night. Just kidding. Any other questions?
What spreadsheet we need to use as an example? How can I access to that sample spreadsheet?
Say it again.
What spreadsheet we need to use as an example for spreadsheet assignments?
There should be up here. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Assignments. Assignments. Spreadsheets. Spreadsheet assignment. Module 3. So module 3, if you say download the spreadsheet, M3 spreadsheet. What's going on? Let me just go ahead and just download instead of trying to show it on the screen. Come on. I'm trying to bring it up. Oh, come on.
Okay, I think I see. It's under module 3.
Yeah, M3 and
under
M4.
spreadsheet.
Mine's not coming up right
Yeah,
now.
it says download and complete module 3 spreadsheet.
Yeah. That's your other
Okay,
question?
thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hi, this is Marisela. Would you consider increasing the time for the quiz?
Give me a second. Quiz. I'm already giving you 40 minutes. How much time do you need?
An hour?
Okay.
How many questions are on the quiz?
30.
30.
I think an hour is a reasonable amount.
All right. You know what? I did one better. Hour, 5 minutes. How about that? You see that? All you have to do is ask. You have,
Okay.
to remind. Yeah, I'm not doing them all this week, so you have to remind me. You have to remind me each week. I'll eventually get to it, but just take a check when we hop on these calls.
I have another question. So I did the homework for M1, but it's not showing up in my grades. Does that take time to populate? Because it's, the homework's in my lab. I just want to make sure I didn't miss a step.
All right.
Mine populated immediately after I completed the homework.
Okay, so I must have missed something.
All right. So, oh shoot. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, now I'm seeing all the questions come in. So my fault, everybody. I'm just now seeing these. So I'll get through the questions. Give me a second. Sitting here asking y'all about questions, like I gave my question. You didn't say anything. All right, give me a second. That's my fault. Reading discussion. So you did chapter. You said reading discussion. I see.
Yeah, I did the M1 chapters 1, 2, and 5 homework, and in my lab, I can see my score.
You got the quiz score, right?
No, not the quiz, I mean the homework that's due on Saturday.
Oh man, I don't see homework. I see your quiz though.
I know, but I'm just saying I did the homework in my lab.
All right, give me a second. Yeah, it says student does not have a submission for this assignment. That's what I'm seeing on my end.
Weird. I don't know what else to do.
Huh.
So all of that stuff we do through MyLabs, is that right? Or do we do it through Oasis?
My lab.
MyLab, okay.
So hey, Ben, when you did your homework in my lab, which is a quiz, right? How did you,
So here, I'll share my screen. So I don't know if you're able to see it. So when I did the
Yeah.
homework, I can see my score. Do you see the same thing where you can
Yeah.
see? Yeah, I can show you what it basically shows the same thing. It shows the timestamp of when I completed it and my grade in the module.
weird, okay. I mean, I can see what you see in my lab, I just don't see it in Canvas. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
ask,
it's not in Canvas because I don't get home.
okay, I'll ask Tina if she can help me troubleshoot it. There must be something off with my connection.
Yeah, because I don't see Ben's. I don't see Ben's in Canvas either. So I'm gonna have to push that stuff. Yeah, that might be on my. That's on my end. It's on my end.
Yeah, I see mine. I mean, mine's right here. But yeah, I don't
But
know.
that's
how
not, no, Ben,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
not in Canvas though. That's in my lab. You see it in Canvas.
Yeah, Canvas.
That's not Canvas. I mean, in your
Well-
grades in Canvas.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I'll have to take a look at that. I haven't checked.
Okay,
I did the homework on Canvas. Does that still count? Is that the same thing? Because the score reflects on MyLab too, though.
I don't
What?
know.
So we can access it through two different places? I thought it was on MyLabs only.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I did it on Canvas. It's the same thing. Like I think they're linked.
Yeah, they're linked.
If it helps, from my understanding and taking courses like this before, you complete it in MyLab and you can see your score right away, but it takes until the module's over for the score on MyLab to populate in our Canvas course.
Interesting.
Right.
There
Okay.
it is. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, mystery solved. Katie, you are Sherlock.
All right. So those who are working from home and currently cannot go to our office. Oh, all right, hold on.
Just to also add more complexity, it says in my lab that all of our assignments are past due, even though they aren't yet due.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, Jennifer, I think that's because on Canvas, they were due in January and February. And I emailed Tina about it and she said that they had fixed it. So I guess it just populated into Canvas to have the right due dates, but it didn't fix it on MyLabs.
Got it. Thanks.
All right, so appreciate it for the. All right, we talked about the quiz date. We talked about the quiz. Like I said, you all just check those times whenever we get on each call. I'm on page 2 of things I have to do. So all right, extend quiz time. All right, got that. In one reading.
And then you were also going to look into allowing us to edit our discussion posts, please.
Discussion.
Because right now they're locked for editing.
Edit discussions. All right, so I gotta do. Give me a second. I'm just responding. All right, so I got that one. What spreadsheet do we use an example? So Corinne, we answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Like I said, I didn't see these chats until later. All right. So we talk about my labs. Like I said, reading discussions are very important. Quizzes, talk about simulations. Like I said, submission guidelines. If you need a couple days, just let me know. I have no problem with extending deadlines, just as long as you get everything in by the due date, by the end of the class. Okay. Just don't go crazy. Just don't go crazy with the extensions. Let's see here. Late assignments. I said because of COVID, I haven't issued a late penalty because during the COVID era. I haven't issued a late penalty in like a year and a half because I know things are crazy right now. Let's see here. Participation. Like I said, I want to, whenever we go, yes, this session is going to be longer because we're going through the syllabus and everything. But whenever we go through discussions, I want us to kind of collaborate based on what we discuss. Yes, some of them may go long. I will try not to go over an hour, but like I said, this one, I can't help it because we have to go through the syllabus, ensure everyone's on the same page. Academic integrity. Make sure that you read the course handbook on academic integrity, academic dishonesty. I have yet to have an issue with CSUMB with that. Please keep it that way. All right. Ensure that you're using APA formatting for your citations. Please give credit where credit's due. People work hard on researching this information, and they just want to receive credit for it. That's all. All right. So just cite your sources. You would want people to do the same thing if you spent, a year or so on research and published it for other people to see and use, so just do that. Again, course communications. I say the easiest way to get a hold of me is going to be through text. There's my phone number. It's in a chat. Make sure I put it in right. Make sure I didn't fat finger anything. So yeah, you can also reach out to me on email, but the easiest way to get a hold of me is going to be through text message. I know some people are not comfortable with doing that, but if you are, send me a text. Etiquette, just be respectful of each other. I mean, this is an MBA program. You've all been with each other for over a year, right? For the most part, so yeah, be respectful of each other. Any questions?
Just to triple confirm, there is no group project in this class, correct?
Correct. Because we have the two. We have the two simulations. So yeah, there's no group project in this class.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. I don't think we changed anything. All right. So took us an hour to get through everything. So I'm gonna try to make this first module quick. So yeah, if you have to jump at the hour, you can go ahead and jump. So if you have to jump, so typically what I do is once this recording is available, I will publish these recordings on YouTube as unlisted, and then I'll send out the link in announcements so you can review all these. So again, like I said, if you need to jump at the hour part, I know it's getting close to dinner time for a lot of you. So you can jump. I will send you the recording. But what I want to do with the first week is I want to just pretty much go through the module, go through what you're going to learn for this weekend, to introduction to supply chain management. So as we talk about supply chain management, what is someone's definition of supply chain management? Why is everybody laughing? What's so funny? What's funny about that question?
I mean, very basically, it's just how goods flow, right, from one place to another.
So the way I explain it, and it's so simple. And like I said, you look around your room right now. Everything in your room got there because of supply chain management. The screen you're looking at right now, the laptop, the computer you're looking at right now, has thousands of parts in it to make it run, to make it see my ugly face. It takes thousands of parts to do that, right? So the way in which I explain that is I say, you take your phone, right? So whenever Apple wants to release the iPhone, I don't know how that even happened, wants to release the iPhone, how did that even happen? Wants to release the iPhone 50, right? And Apple says that, okay, I'm gonna put 10 cameras on the back of this phone, right? Now Apple has to say, okay, who are we going to source this from? Who are we going to source all these cameras from? So once they have identified the supplier for those cameras, then they have to purchase all of those cameras. So now they have to negotiate on the price. Once they negotiate on the price, once they have figured out how many cameras they actually need through forecasting, because they say, okay, in order for how many cameras we need, how many phones are we going to make? Right? So now you're going to look at forecasting, and how do you forecast something that doesn't exist? You look at previous, that's like freaking me out. See myself. You look at previous history of a similar product. So they're going to look at the iPhone 49 and look at what the demand was the first few months for the iPhone 49. So if they say, okay, worldwide, we sold 500,000 iPhone 49s. So they say, okay, 400,000 times 10 cameras, that's how many cameras we need. Okay. So then they figure out how many cameras they need. They also will add a safety stock, a buffer stock, because some of those cameras may be defective. Right? So they have a safety stock, they have a buffer stock for those cameras. So now they purchase all of those cameras, and now they have to figure out, okay, how are we going to get these cameras from Indonesia, let's just say, to China? Because Apple manufactures in China. Foxconn got in the hot water with Apple. We'll talk about that in this class, because that's a discussion in itself. So now Apple has to get all these cameras from Indonesia to China for Foxconn to manufacture these iPhones. So once all these cameras get to Foxconn, right? Let's just say Foxconn, then they start manufacturing these phones. They also gather all the other hundreds of parts in addition to these cameras, the motherboards, the screens, the backs, right? The circuit boards and things like that, the buttons, to manufacture these phones. So they're collecting all these products from all over the world at Foxconn. Foxconn stored all these products, and now they manufacture these phones. So now Foxconn is manufacturing these phones, and now all of these finished phones are stacking up in their inventory. And now Foxconn's saying, okay, this is getting crazy. Where am I going to store all these finished goods, all these finished phones? So that's where distribution comes in. That's where the distribution centers come in. That's where, whenever you think distribution centers, think Amazon. Okay. So although although Apple doesn't send to Amazon, they could, but now they're manufacturing all these phones, and now they're sending those finished phones to these distribution centers to store. So now the Apple CEO, Tim Cook, walks on the stage and says, hey, everybody, look at this new iPhone 50. It's got 10 cameras on the back. And now all of us go crazy. And now demand comes in for all these iPhones. So now you have all these iPhones in distribution centers across China. And now these Chinese distribution centers have to figure out what distribution centers in the US, in Indonesia, in Australia, in UK need these phones. So now you're distributing all these phones around the world. Okay. So now they're in distribution centers around the world. And now you have to figure out what Verizon stores need these phones, what Apple stores need these phones, what T-Mobile stores need these phones. So now you're distributing from these distribution centers across the US, let's just say US, so to all these stores for us to go in and purchase the phones. That's the components of supply chain management. That's all supply chain management is. Simple, right? But then you have supply chain disruptions like COVID, like the Suez Canal. And that's where I made my money. So that's what adds to the complexity of supply chain management. And that's what we talk about in this class. So the components of supply chain is essentially the people that make up, or the business partners that make up an organization's supply chain network. And then the strategies and processes, 1.2, is what makes your supply chain effective and efficient, right? So that's where Apple brings in artificial intelligence. That's where we bring in those advanced forecasting techniques. That's where we're bringing in things such as demand sensing. We'll talk about that. Once we talk about the forecasting section, we'll talk about demand sensing.
You want to watch your food too, mommy?
So you have those approaches to reduce the complexity, to alleviate the complexity, I should say, to mitigate the risk in these supply chain disruptions, to make those efficient. And when we talk about strategy and processes, I would also say that collaboration and communication could also be considered a process within supply chain management. You will hear me say collaboration and communication is always an input to pretty much everything we talk about every single week, because it is. Okay. And it's one thing that a lot of organizations don't do. Okay. So that you'll talk about the strategies within supply chain management. Also, there's going to be a number of metrics and measurements within supply chain management. So you'll have metrics, you'll have measurements, and then you'll also have key performance indicators. Okay. Now, people will use metrics and KPIs interchangeably, but metrics are those short-term operational quantitative, told you we wouldn't get away from it, quantitative numbers where you see day to day. So for example, Amazon will have metrics of picks per hour, right? Amazon will have metrics of shipments per day, right? We will have the customer service will have calls per hour. That's metrics, right? But from a key performance indicator perspective, those are longer term metrics, or see, I messed up. Longer term quantitative measurements, such as supplier scorecards. So you'll have supplier scorecards where it says number of lines shipped full. Right? So how many lines, what is the fill rate of my supplier? So some people will do it by lines. Some people will do it by quantity. Depends on your industry. Right? And you would run that every month or every quarter, mostly every month. And organizations use enterprise resource planning systems, ERP systems, and they will create portals so that they'll take the ERP system and feed that data into these supplier portals in real time, so that supplier can log in at any given time and see how they're performing. Right. So although that's real time, us as an organization will look at those metrics for those suppliers from a KPI perspective to see how they're performing on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. Right. So that's the difference between metrics and key performance indicators. And then you're going to talk about the number of the various systems and processes to manage customer relationships. You're going to hear about customer relationship management systems. You probably heard of a system called Salesforce, Salesforce.com. And Salesforce.com is pretty much a system where you can log in all of your customer communications. And that way you can go in. So if I'm working with a customer, if I'm a customer service rep, if I'm a sales guy, I can go into Salesforce and I can see when the last communication was with that customer, right? So it gives me a log of all those communications. In some cases in Salesforce, it can give me all the invoices. I can do email blasts out of Salesforce. So it's a platform that you can use to manage your customer relationships. Now we say customer relationships, but there's also supplier relationships that are important as well. So you have supplier relationship management systems. I did a conference. I did a conference with Visible last week. Again, if you go to my website, I'm not pitching anything. Again, I'm not selling anything on here except my book. I'm giving it to you for free. But anyway, so this Visible conference, so Visible Collaborate 2020. So Visible is a company based in the UK, where they create supplier collaboration tools. So that's the marketing term, but it's nothing but a customer relationship management tool. That's all it is, right? So my point I'm trying to make is that yes, we have Salesforce that is that customer relationship management tool, but you also have tools like Visible, that increases that collaboration from a procurement perspective as well. Okay. Another cool thing, again, like I said, I'm talking about things that are current. So another cool thing, this just happened today, actually. So Siri is a blockchain solution, and they are pegging themselves. So CERE.network, they're pegging themselves as a decentralized Salesforce. Okay, so they just did a token out. So they're actually issued a token today. I think they raised like over 23 million in like hours, which is crazy. But they are creating a decentralized application for relationship management tools. So, decentralized cloud platform. They are doing using decentralized finance. We're not going to get into that. That's a different world. But they're trying to create a decentralized communication tool that's going to not really compete with Salesforce. As a matter of fact, on their board, they got the Salesforce COO, which I think is crazy, but I don't know how they pull that one off. But she got a lot of tokens, I'll say. But but you're seeing a transition. You're seeing a transition in the industry where people are trying to decentralize communications. They're trying to take the power out of the hands of these large organizations. Siri is probably one of the first to do that. They're going up against the behemoth of Salesforce, right? They are pioneers. They're pioneers in this game. I would say that I'm early in the game. I got me some Siri today. I will say it, full disclosure, but I think that with them going on a platform like Republic, a crowdfunding platform like Public, and them having this approach, and this approach being accepted by the masses, that's what tells me that there's going to be a transition in the industry, right? And what does this mean to supply chain management? Like I said, Procter & Gamble asked me to come speak. And if I get a billion-dollar company like Procter & Gamble ask me to come speak, I'm not doing it for free. Just saying. right? So they're paying me to come talk to them about blockchain. So what does that mean? They're not doing that. They're not paying me for giggles. They're thinking about integrating blockchain within their organization, right? So that's one thing. That's one thing that a lot of people are. And again, going back to what you can get on my website, and a lot of people are asking me questions about that. How is blockchain going to integrate? Is going to be going to be integrated within supply chain management? And in my opinion, it's gonna take it over. It's not. It's gonna be five. It's gonna be probably next 5 to 10 years. It's not gonna be next year. That's not gonna happen, right? But I would say in the next 5 or 10 years, you're going to see more organizations integrating blockchain. As a matter of fact, one second. So let's see here. Amazon. Amazon has a blockchain, you don't even know it. Right? There's a healthcare organization, I can't say who. They're putting healthcare records, they're putting our healthcare records on the blockchain. We don't even know it. Right? It's secure, it's good for us because it's secure, right? But we don't know it. We work with so many organizations. We deal with so many organizations that put that data on the blockchain, and we have no idea. But again, it's good because it's going to make our data more secure. It's going to make our private data more secure, right? So yeah, Amazon is doing a lot within the blockchain space. There's so many companies that's doing a lot within the blockchain space. I just had a call with IBM last Friday. So I'm in tight with Sherry Heinisch. She's an IBM partner. I had a call with her. Yeah. Anything on supply chain, if you're interested in supply chain, reach out to Sherry Heinisch. Tell you're in my class, she'll talk to you. Okay. She's partner at IBM. Same thing with Joe Henwood. If you have an interest in Levi's, reach out to Joe Henwood at Levi's. Tell him you're in my class. He'll talk to you. Both of these people are phenomenal. They're amazing. They're laid back. They'll talk to anybody whenever they have time. But yeah, she's partner at IBM. She was talking to me about blockchain, because IBM Hyperledger Fabric, that's a big push of IBM right now. Hyperledger Fabric's being used by Walmart, I think De Beers, some of the largest Fortune 100 companies. They're integrating blockchain. Within their supply chain management functions. Also, H&M is using blockchain. H&M is using blockchain with VeChain. VeChain pretty much took over the. See, I told you I'll go in rabbit holes. VeChain pretty much took over the fashion space, so the apparel space, I would say. Where they're tracking and tracing blockchain transactions on the VeChain blockchain. So a lot of transparency within these technologies, within these tools. And again, I think that oh, Ben, oh wait, all right, let me see here. You get me excited. All right. Let's see. I got blocked. Oh, 6 hours ago too. Oh, you're on top. You're on top of it more than I am.
I follow a lot of things on LinkedIn.
Lockheed. Okay. Supply chain management in Switzerland. Yep. I have to. Are you on LinkedIn? I'm gonna give you a shout out for that one. I'm gonna give you a shout out for that one, my friend.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a shout out for that one, my friend. This is gold. This is gold. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. So I mean, there you go. I mean, this industry is transforming, you know. So, like I said, I don't try to move people within this space. But if you go to, so this is, like I said, this is the company that we're starting up. This is a startup. If you go to syntech.ai, you go to the student ambassadors, you can click this. You can go to click here to apply. And we are, again, this is the universities that we're developing a platform for. So we're actually developing a test net for students to develop blockchain applications. But what's crazy is that so in 2019, I did 5 TEDx talks on blockchain. And one of those talks talked about the sharing economy, where the blockchain is going to decentralize commerce and it's going to create the sharing economy. And you're seeing that with NFTs. So non-fungible tokens, you've seen Beeple sold for however many millions of dollars. Full disclosure, I'm making a boatload of money in NFTs right now, and I'm just buying them and selling them, right? So, but the NFT space, you have to know. I will say it's highly volatile. You have to know what you're doing. I am not providing any financial advice right now, but it's an opportunity. But the point with the NFTs is that it is providing, like, people that are working for Pixar, are working for Disney, and creating these animations that Disney's making billions of dollars off of. These people are now creating art and put them on Nifty Gateway, and now they're making 1.5 million bucks in 7 minutes, right? With these drops. But that's the way, in my opinion, that's the way it should be. Now, what's better is that they're making 1.5 million in 7 minutes, but every time that person who bought that piece sells it, they get a royalty, they get a commission in perpetuity, forever, right? That's the beauty, because it's on a smart contract on the blockchain. So I'm taking that idea and I'm saying, for these students that are collaborating, so business students, MBA students, supply chain students, finance students, engineering students, they're working with computer scientists that are going to be coding these things, and they're developing applications, and we're putting smart contracts on every single one of those solutions. So if that solution is used, the creator gets paid in perpetuity, forever, right? So that's what we're building. You think the organization is going to get upset? Yes, they are. You know what? I don't care. That's the way it should be. What can they do? They can't do anything because it's decentralized. So if you look at again, if you go to TED.com, put my name in, I talk about the sharing economy and I talk about Web 3.0. Web 3.0 is this decentralized world that we're moving to. And you're going to start seeing it trickle in to the industry. You're starting to see it right now. You're seeing the first phases of it with Siri. And with you all within the MBA program, again, this is just not supply chain. If you, like I said, look up decentralized finance. If you all have heard of it, decentralized finance, it's on absolute fire right now. It's early on. There's some things to work out with DeFi, but it's absolutely crazy. Mark Cuban is talking about it every single day. Gary Vee's talking about it every single day.
Can you talk about what you mean by like decentralized? Like, what is that concept? What is that?
So what I mean by what screen are y'all seeing? All right, y'all see the right screen? Hold on, man. I'm not even showing the right screen. All right, hold on, man. So you didn't see this website? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. My bad. All right. So yeah, I don't even know what y'all were seeing. My fault. I thought y'all were seeing my screen. My fault. So you see the PowerPoint now, right? What's going on with this thing? See, you see, people pay all this money for Zoom and it's not even working. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe it's operator error. What do you see now?
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
So whenever I say decentralized, right? I'm talking about the network. So blockchain networks are built on nodes. So we have 16 people. Man, a lot of people dropped off. So we have 16 people that's in this discussion right now, right? So every single one of us will be a node. So whenever a blockchain transaction is created, all of us have to reach consensus that that blockchain transaction is indeed accurate, is indeed valid, right? So when I talk about decentralized finance is that I don't have to have the bank's permission to get a loan, right? To me, that's going to be huge for certain populations. I don't have to have your permission. I don't have to send you. I don't have to run my credit to get $1 million loan. I can go to these, what we call liquidity pools, and I can get $1 million, right? If I can, so you have to put up $1 million in crypto for you to get $1 million, right? But you can do what we refer to as crowd loans. So you can crowd loan, so you can crowdfund the $1 million if you want a loan, and then you'll pay back those people that loaned for you. We don't care what your credit score is, right? So that's why I say this decentralized finance is going to change the game. Now, what's happening right now is that the DeFi market, they're loaning out a lot of crypto right now. This is not financial advice. You asked the question, I'm just educating. All right. So they'll loan out all this crypto, and then they'll go in, because like the crypto market is going crazy, right? It's a bull market. You have to be crazy to be losing money in the market right now. But they'll loan out $1 million in crypto, and then they'll make 15% in like 2 days. Give it right back. What's 15% on $1 million? 150? 150 grand, right? So you pulled 150 grand for nothing. That's what's going on in this DeFi market right now, right? But now, that's how they're gaming the system. I'm looking at it from how is it going to benefit people, like those people who can't get a loan, from normal means, those people who can't get funding if you're trying to start up a company, from investors. That's where this DeFi market is going to change the game, right? And that's why I say there's so much potential to it. And I'm trying to learn everything about it. It's like 3 months old, right? So another company to look at, so if you want to learn about DeFi, I would say, so decentralized finance. So that's decentralized finance. In terms of decentralization from a supply chain perspective, so you have what we call public and private blockchains. So within business, in most cases, you're going to have a private blockchain. So that means that everyone within my blockchain network, everyone within my supply chain network, I should say, my customers, my vendors, will be within this blockchain network. So whenever a purchase order is executed on a blockchain, then my suppliers go in here and they're incentivized to look at this blockchain transaction and say, okay, quantity looks good, okay, price looks good, yes, accept. Once I reach consensus, it gets written to the blockchain. It's transparent for everyone to see, right? But what I talk about at my conferences is that those transactions need to be public and transparent for everyone to see. That way, that's going to fight child labor. That way, that's going to fight forced labor. That way, that's going to fight the unethical practices that we see in supply chains right now. And you know what? People can't stand when I say it because they have so much to hide, right? So that's why I'm so bullish. That's why I'm so bullish on blockchain. And like I said, it's the market is going absolutely nuts right now. And like I said, you can go to sidtech.ai. We're gonna have some stuff up there. Like I'm not charging anybody a dime. I just want to educate. Right. So we're gonna have stuff. We're gonna have stuff up there in the next couple of weeks. And let's see here. I just posted something. To Georgetown. Let me say. That answer your question, Mark? I'm good at ranting for like 10 minutes on a simple question.
Yeah, I guess it's a non-traditional. What is what decentralized is?
Yeah, because
Somewhat.
think about it. All business, all decisions are centralized. Right? Now we're moving into a democratic system where the customers, the suppliers have a say on how this network works, how this network operates. Right? There's a voting. So the Polkadot blockchain that we're building on, there's a democratic system, right? So if you have a certain amount of they call it DOT. Their tokens is called DOT. If you have a certain amount of DOT, then you'll be able to vote on. You'll be able to issue proposals to say this network should change to do this, right? This network should change to have more women on the council. If you have enough DOT, you can propose that, and people will vote on it. If it gets accepted, the whole thing changes. That's the Web3 where we're going to. And like I said, organizations, the traditional thinking, they're not going to be able to stand it. So the way that Polkadot works is that Gavin Wood, he started Ethereum, for you all that know blockchain. He started Ethereum, he left Ethereum, he started Polkadot. He even says he has no control over what Polkadot's going to do. The creator, the founder, has one vote, just like everybody else. And he built it that way. That's the way he wanted it. That changes the game. Right? That changes everything. That's the way it should be. If you don't want to play in it, you're gonna these are my thoughts. If you don't want to play in it, I think you'll get left behind. Or, well, you know what? Back up. You know, we have a democracy in the US. Our democracy is split 50-50. Our democracy is split 50-50. So this thought, this mindset, it may be split 50-50. Right? But those, you know, you're gonna have this type of democratic system within business. And this capitalism goes away. Right? Our motto, our internal motto, our internal unprofessional motto is everybody eat. Everybody eat in this blockchain space. There's enough money to go around within this. And what I've been finding within this space with these people that I'm finding, they don't care your gender, they don't care what color you are, they don't care what age you are, they don't care where you come from. It's all one space. They all help each other out, because our success of our projects hinge upon the outcome of Polkadot. If you think about it that way, in the US, our success of all businesses in the US hinges upon the power of the United States in the world. People don't think that way. They're all about their money. This is a change in the mindset. And we're bringing it to higher education. And there's going to be institutions that don't like it. Like Wharton. Wharton's not going to like this. They're not going to like this one bit. They teach capitalism. Right? So, you know, this whole decentralization, this whole democratization, it's that Web3 movement we're talking about, and that's one thing that I am, because I'm all about diversity and inclusion. I'm all about sustainability. I like my money too, but if I bring my people with me, if I bring in diverse thoughts, diverse mindsets, I make even more money. If we all work together, I make even more money. People don't think that way. I know that's not the objective of this class, but it all comes back to systems thinking. It all comes back to supply chain management. It all comes back to this MBA program. Why are you here? You're here to get promoted. You're here to make more money. Right? Am I wrong? Right? So again, you may not agree with that. Again, these are just my thoughts. I'm just sharing my thoughts, and I always welcome people to share their thoughts in terms of, if you think differently. I have one student, he's military. He always checks me on my thoughts, and he's like one of my favorite students because he makes me think differently. He allows me to see things through a different lens. And I've texted him on multiple occasions. I say, if you have something to say it, because that's what begins a conversation, right? And that's what I'm going to say throughout this entire class. So, any other questions? You see, if you ask a question, we might be here a little bit longer, but I'm here.
That student ambassador program is paid?
Excuse me?
The student ambassador program that you mentioned earlier, is it paid?
There's a potential for payment based on contribution.
I accept crypto payments. So,
like I said, there's a potential for payment based on contribution. White paper coming soon. That's your question?
yeah, I was, if you could share the link, because I thought I copied it, but I didn't.
All right, give me a second.
Okay.
Are you a developer?
No, I would be, I'm not, but wondering, because you did mention that, they look for people from different backgrounds to work with developers. So.
Yep. What's your background?
I work in financial services.
Oh, yes, please sign up.
Yeah, retirement plans specifically, all kinds of plans. And then I also do real estate on the side.
Oh, so, yes, please sign up. There's 2 use cases right there.
Yeah.
Yes, you have a potential to get some tokens. Well, yeah, I mean, it's based primarily for higher education. It's to give, because I know we're getting deep, but it gives people a safe place to practice and take chances and risks, right? Because within Polkadot, there's a test net called Kusama, but Kusama currently has the people who dropped out of MIT because they weren't learning anything. These guys in this blockchain space, these are the smartest people I've ever seen in my life. These people are absolutely brilliant, right? I mean, these are like computer scientists. These are mathematicians. These are people with PhDs. These are like 28-year-old kids with PhDs. So creating these solutions. So this is a totally different space. But like I said, it's a welcoming space. I've never seen a space like this before. They don't care who you are. Never seen anything like it. And I would say most of them aren't even from the US. That's part of the reason why they don't care from where you come from. Because they don't live in that type of world. So, any other questions? I know we're going long. Any other questions in terms of week 1?
There's like a simulation for Saturday. SCM, MyLab.
Oh, let's see here.
Does that sound right?
I'm looking. Wait, I hit the wrong button. Like I said, I don't know what screen y'all are seeing, so maybe just go ahead and stop this. Oh, goodness gracious. Sorry. Give me a second. Please hold. Assignments. Uh, 17th, homework, 13th, reading, 15th, quiz. Oh, activate course pack. Wait, no. Yeah, SGM MyLab. Yeah, you're right. No, 17th. Yeah, this Saturday. Duh, Justin, duh. Yeah. Let me change that because we're not. We should have the course pack resolved by tomorrow, but I'm still gonna give you a couple extra days. I'll give you the next Tuesday. That way we can talk about it. So 20th, so I'm moving that to the 20th. Fair enough. Okay. Any other questions? All right. So if there's no more questions, thank you for, like I said, thank you for staying on. We went over 42 minutes. My apologies for that. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the way these classes go. I'm sorry. I mean, it's better for me to go over than to try to rush through an hour discussion. Like I said, if you need to jump after an hour as we go through this, we're going to upload these on YouTube. Normally takes about, so it'll take 10 minutes for me to get the Zoom recording, but YouTube normally takes like an hour or so to upload it. So I would say next 3 hours this will be live, and I'll send an announcement. All right. And then I have, so MyLab, SCM simulation, that is changed to the 20th. So both of those here are 20th, the simulation. Like I said, I'm gonna see if Susan sometimes, yeah, see what she says. Yeah, she just responded. All right. So yeah, Susan's still working on it. So yeah, like I said, we should have something by tomorrow. Okay. She put her foot down. She put her foot down today, so I'll leave it at that. So we'll get some traction.
The MyLab is the Pearson stuff, right? That we got the code for, but it just won't let us in, just to be sure.
No, the Pearson, yeah. So you're not able to get into Pearson?
No, with that access code.
If you used it, Tina sent an email where she explains like how you can follow some instructions so you can get the code and then access it. It should work. I know it was off before, but Susan actually fixed it so that we didn't need the other code because we needed two. So what Tina had sent didn't work on Friday, but I actually talked to Susan and she fixed it. So now it should work.
Oh, okay. So is there a different code, or did she send an email? Because I don't have an email from her.
No, Susan didn't send it. She just fixed it so that basically she made it so that we bypass that requirement, and she already took care of it in the back end. So now you just follow the instructions from Tina's email, and that should let you in.
Gotcha. Thank you.
She did send an email today, which gives you the instructions.
Gotcha. I got, not the Harvard course pack one, right?
The Harvard
I'm
course
pulling
pack we're
it.
still working on. Harvard course pack we're still working on.
Okay, I didn't get an email from her then for some reason, because I only see the email she said about the Harvard course pack. Tina, right? Was the one who sent it?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, maybe.
No, I don't have anything.
I don't have anything from her, just the ones from Friday that say the instructions on how to access it.
Friday the 9th, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, I did get that email. Thank you. I'm sorry, everyone.
But if you can, happy to help, just like shoot me an email and I can help you.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Rosella.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Making my job easier. Appreciate it.
Of course.
You get some extra credit for that. Just kidding. Now you will.
Please.
And crypto we trust. Good night, guys.
In crypto we trust. There we go. We're gonna get along just fine. All right. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Professor.
Good
All right.
night.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot. I look forward to speaking with y'all on the discussions. Have a great week. We'll talk next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, yeah, everybody.
Bye,
change
everyone.
that. I'll work on that edit discussion now. I think she already dropped, but yeah, I want to edit discussion now. All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank
See you.
you.
Bye-bye.